What's up, party people? We're here, and I thought I'd show off one of my recent animations that I made. This is the Joycon 2 from the recent Switch 2 reveal. But I had a little idea. I was in the shower, and I was like, man, what if I made it into a piano? Why not? So that's kind of what I did, and I just kind of like modeled it real quick, slapped some keys inside, and we have ourselves a Joy-Con piano. And then thanks to the magic of my plugin here, I can just kind of have it go and actually play some music and play some like Mario, like overworld music that you probably won't hear right now because I have it muted, but yeah, it plays the music. But you get the idea. Go watch the rest on like Instagram or whatever. The file size is so much smaller. Yeah, you get the idea. It plays the overworld theme, which I actually took into Ableton as a MIDI file, and I replaced it with like random Arturia synthesizer instruments, which is why it sounds like maybe a little different than you're normally accustomed to it sounding. But yeah, made it this in Blender, modeled it, animated it using my MIDI plugin over here. As you can see, it's still like loaded up with all the piano keys and all the settings. You can literally see the Mario theme here. Might be a little small for my peeps. Here, let me jack it up. Oh my god. Okay, but you can see now. It's got the MIDI plugin all set up and stuff, and yeah, that's how I animated it. Kind of like automatically. You can see like all the keys here are just kind of like keyframed out to like each key press and stuff. It's cool. It's like a thing. Go check it out. I got a video in my YouTube channel. But what we're here for is I actually wanted to show you this too. I actually like exported the model as a GLTF, technically GLB file, and imported it into ThreeJS. And then now you can kind of play it on the web. And I replaced all the like normal keyboard sound effects with the Switch sound effects. So you can kind of just like rock out. Kind of like one of those old school Nintendo games like that you would like compose, like Mario Paint or something. Just kind of go ham. Yeah, fun. I think you can click into and do it. I think stuff. Yeah, you get the idea. Yeah. I think I can pull up the code real quick if you guys wanted to take a peek at that. It's basically just my R3F project template that I have going on. We have a piano scene that you can see here. This is kind of like the 3D scene that's making this up. We have fog, we have color, we have an environment with an HDR texture from Polyhaven. We have bloom and some, what do you call it? Ambient occlusion. So that's what's creating some of the nicer like elements here, like the glows that you get from the emission. It just doesn't look that good out of the box. We add some noise just to give it like a little texture, a bunch of lights. And then the actual 3D model itself is here as a component where I basically have an input store that I've created with ZooStand. And this just keeps track of just all the different piano keys that somebody may be pressing. And then I have a keyboard component that takes the keyboard input and maps it to these kind of like piano key like thingies and updates the state store thing going on there. Bam. And then all of these inputs get put into the piano so it knows what's being pressed or what's not. And we can go here into the piano model. And this is basically just a GLTF file that's been run through GLTF to JSX CLI. You can see here. And it gives you a nice little React component with basically all the different 3D objects that you had in your scene kind of like laid out and all their different objects and stuff and parsed. And all the different materials for your 3D objects. But for me, I actually had to come in and change some of the stuff. Like you can see here, I have animated piano key components that basically wrap the mesh elements that we have from ThreeJS. You can see it's just a mesh. And I basically go through and just animate here, like all the key color changes and stuff that you're seeing. It checks if it's pressed or not, and then it just animates inside of like use frame hook here and does all the magic for all the different piano keys. And it just kind of like wraps each piano key. Little component magic. Yeah, some fun. I might put this online. This is copyright strike central right here. Maybe without the sound effects. You guys can like hack your own version together with that. But yeah, this was a fun little project. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys want to see more in-depth breakdowns. I guess the last thing, because I didn't really show like the process of making this. Let me open that up for the people who are actually interested. You guys were already seeing some of the bad topology when the you can see it here. Whoop. I'm getting some like tearing from the just the topology just being bad. Like the way I made it, it was just not good. So you can get a little preview of just some of that stuff there. Yeah, you can kind of see here, these were all the iterations that we had. This is how I model. I basically go through, and anytime I do something that I know is going to be destructive, I basically create a copy. So I started with a cube. Obviously we had reference images. I can pull those up so you can just see, boop, some reference images. I had to like download a switch and like, you know, make this whole like little thingy, obviously. And then bam, we come back to the backup and we have a cube that was just the right size, because once you make that, you don't want to make it again. And then I started to kind of like just go at it, you know, just take the cube and just like bevel some of the edges and just try to get these like really nice like curves going on. You can see here it's basically just like a cube that's just been beveled out like a bunch of different ways. I tried this a few different times because every time I did it, it would just kind of produce just slightly different results and stuff. I tried to do the Joycon like L thingy in the back. That was so difficult to like nail correctly. I kind of just tapped out at some point and I was like, people aren't going to see it. So it's technically an incomplete model. But you can see not too crazy differences on the variations. Let me maybe do this so you can kind of see maybe any major differences. Yeah, not too much, nothing too wild. You can see here this was it starting to come together, me pushing out some of the buttons. You can already see some of the tearing happening here with some of the topology because it doesn't have a proper like top, and I just subdivided it. So that's what's causing the tearing here. Ideally, I would have like had instead of using a cube, or like I would have subdivided the cube and then, you know, would have something to work with there. But because it's basically an n-gon that I created, it was not very happy. But yeah, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like stuff like this, let me know in the comments. You can see me streaming maybe on Twitch sometimes, some of this stuff, very rarely. Let me see, where was the Joy-Con so I can put it back up. Bam, bam, bam. And basically when I exported it for the web, when you're seeing it in the render mode, it's highly subdivided and stuff. You can see here in the modifiers here, I have like level 3, level 2 subdivisions. I basically just take these off for the web version, and I just like cut that out. That's what you see on the web basically. Maybe like a 1 subdivision, maybe. And then I also applied all the different Boolean modifiers that I created just to plug in these buttons really quick, because that's how I just made those. And that's how the topology also got kind of wrecked. But selected that, export to GLTF, done. Yeah. You get it. See you guys later. See you guys next time. Take care.